Welcome back, gardeners. We are on site at a brand new project. We're going to be breaking ground here very soon. We're going to solve a lot of problems, but there's also something really fun and unique about this space is that it's right next door to my Moongate garden. We are at the neighbor's house of the Moongate. The homeowners saw that garden. They loved it. They wanted one of their own. And of course, I can come in and create that for them. And this one starts a little rough, which makes for a perfect before and after. So the homeowner loves gardening, and this is what he's working with to begin with. So we got to correct the issue. Also, his back isn't the best, so we're obviously going to be doing our raised beds like we always do. One fun feature about this garden space is that we are repurposing a pile of really cool bricks over there that literally has been sitting there for 10 years. It was waiting for me to show up to recycle, repurpose, reuse, and create something really magical and beautiful out of these authentic Chicago bricks. One of the fun features about this garden is that we are going to connect the dots between the driveway and their back patio area. Right now, they have a few steppers through the sod. We'll actually be wiping the slate clean here, taking away these big overgrown yews, putting in some hydrangeas that are a little softer, and there's actually gonna be a walk-through garden. So roughly right about here, there's gonna be a big entrance arbor that takes you into the center of the space. We're gonna be extending that patio over there, so it links up to there, so you actually kind of cut through a portion of this garden to take you into their amazing space in their backyard. You can see the slope here. It's a little crazy, so no big deal. We concrete and bury every post in the ground, so it's all perfectly level. But it will be kind of fun to play with the grade change on this one. I always love to do that. So we'll have some outcropping stones that takes you into other pockets of their yard after we raise this land up to create something flat and workable. These couches over here is actually where he enjoys spending time, which is obviously a little lackluster, and he deserves a better spot to hang out in. So what better use is to put that furniture in the center of his future garden space. So one other detail that we're gonna correct when we're here is the flow of this entire little nook over here. So right now I'm outside the garden area, but you can see it needs a little cleanup. I don't love the way that that stoop interferes with this path, so we'll actually be cutting this down to size and redoing it so that it's out of the way, so that this 6-foot long path just directs you straight into the garden. We are back on site. We got started on this project 2 weeks ago, and I'm super pumped to show you what's been going on. Last time you saw this property, it didn't have much to offer in terms of a functioning garden, and you can now see the massive footprint that lies behind me. We are definitely well on our way to creating the most majestic garden that perhaps I've even built yet. Before I give you a quick little recap of what's been going on, I'm going to deliver some pepper plants to Jose and Enrique because they like the spicy girls, and my palate doesn't. Hola, Jose. Here are your pepper plants. So this is my main guy, Jose. He is the one behind the scenes who's been building all the gardens with Enrique, hanging out over here too. When we start to get on site in a project like this, you know, I have a dream, I have a vision, and then in reality, we really start to see the grade drop. I mean, we're working with probably almost, I'm 5'10", so this is probably a 5-foot drop from the start. Corbett, my builder, he's not here today, but he's always up for a good challenge. We've done slope terraced gardens in the past, so this is just in line with that. So I have full confidence in my crew that they can actually pull this off. Everything is buried and concreted, which you can see pretty clearly here. No matter what grade we're working with, it's okay because we always have our footings concreted in, so there's no need to worry about this thing tilting or collapsing. It'll stay nice and solid. So in this garden space, we're using mostly cedar tone lumber. However, we will have pops of steel throughout. So up in this grander entrance, it actually won't stay blank. What will happen is we'll order Corten steel boxes that'll connect with the driveway. And above me right here will be a beautiful entrance off of the driveway into the main garden space made out of cedar tone lumber. Over here, you can start to see the countertop take form. We've done this a couple times before where we invite a little extra elevation to accommodate a 3-foot tall counter space. This homeowner loves to grill and smoke, and so we will be creating a door underneath this counter to actually pop in his charcoal and other materials he needs. I don't know, I'm not a smoker kind of a person, so I'm not sure what that involves, but we are going to create the right space for him to make it functional. The last fun little thing to point out, between these two boxes where the trellises are gonna go, you can see that it drops off to nothing, right? Even if we were to raise the grade here, it would still be a little bit of a hazard. If I was standing here, I'd probably fall off and seriously hurt myself. So we just had a conversation today actually with the homeowners, and we're actually gonna be putting in a retention wall behind here, which will offer two things: a solution so you don't fall to your death, and also functionality to get behind the trellis. When I'm at the lowest part of this box without a retention wall, I could only reach maybe 2 or 3 foot above the box line. Also, it will add a really cool element because there'll be now 2 entrances into this garden space, obviously through the middle, and you'll have a little bonus one in the retention wall. So we have a lot to do on this project. You can see we'll check back in perhaps one more time during construction before the final reveal. So it's been about 6 weeks since we have been back here, and a lot has transpired. Pretty soon, right through here, we'll be building this big arbor with steel boxes. She definitely wanted to add in a little bit more steel, so we're gonna make sure we accomplish that task. And you can already see the arbor taking shape that leads to her backyard. We'll mirror that look, but just make it a little bigger, a little grander on the central entrance that really ushers you into this amazing space. So one thing about this project that I didn't really know how we were gonna tackle until we got on site was all the terracing and all the grade change. And I just think the guys have done an amazing job with figuring that out. For this project, we have 5 terraces. So this definitely makes it my most terraced garden. Right here, you're looking at a future pathway. So we have kind of an exterior perimeter box concept with an interior box where most of the people will be hanging out in. I cannot wait to see how this patio turns out by repurposing the brick that has been sitting over there collecting moss for the last 10 years. We're gonna give that a sprucing up and put it back into action right in this central hangout spot. One thing that we have accomplished is to incorporate outcropping stone steps to take you out into the lawn. My guess was that we needed about 5 or 6 steps when we first started, but in actuality, we needed more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gets you down, and there's actually gonna be 1 more installed at the top. We added in 6-foot wide retaining wall here. 3 of the feet will be a decomposed granite path to match the interior pathway material. And we also wanted to add in a little bit of a buffer for softness. So we'll be popping in some beautiful white fluffy Annabelle hydrangeas all across this retaining wall. So our next steps is to finish out the electrical wiring, to get all the irrigation installed after the dirt is in, and of course, string the lights and get the steel in. Construction is wrapped up. We have planted a little fall teaser garden, and I am excited to show you how this garden is thriving already. In this entrance that leads you into this really magical space, we don't have any vines growing yet, but you can see it's just waiting to be covered in vines next season. But in the meantime, we actually put in a cute little salad bar that welcomes you into the space off of the driveway. These nasturtiums offer a little bit of cheer as well when you come into this garden space, which is edible. It has a little spicy kick to it. You can put it in a salad. We're in late September, so we probably have an honest month or 2, depending on what nature gives us in terms of a grow season. So we took advantage of that, and we did not waste any time to get plants in this space. And I'm happy we did, because they can have this garden sooner rather than later. What is so exciting about this entire space is this central hangout area. Last time it was a little bit rocky roads, but now you can see the repurposed brick that we did, and it turned out beautiful. It's actually authentic Chicago brick, which the homeowners are going to whitewash to really tie into their white brick house. But I think it's really beautiful as is. It just depends on what flavor you're looking for. But what's really kind of cute is this little plant here. When we were digging out all the weeds and the brush over by the AC unit, there was actually a volunteer tomato from the client's garden that used to be where we're looking at right now. So I said, let's save it, let's pop it in and see what happens. And it actually is thriving and producing a couple cute little tomatoes. So if you, fun fact, have a little volunteer tomato plant, let it live, let it produce, and give you a bonus plant that you weren't necessarily expecting. We finished off the countertop area because when you create a space like this that obviously invites people into it, we need a place to work off of, right? Where to put your drinks, where to put your food, and your garden tools. So this is a beautiful soapstone slab that the homeowner and I picked out, and it just really pops and it ties so well into this granite. When it was first installed, it looked a little blue, but then she had a little trick up her sleeve and she put some beeswax on that and it darkened it up and kind of seasoned it in a sense, and it really turned out amazing. We did these custom doors, which I think turned out amazing. It adds in a little extra pop of steel, and the wood frame matches the lumber, of course. And then to take you down into the yard, we actually have a really fun surprise to take advantage of this massive backdrop we created by building it so high. Behind me, you'll see two really cute S-by-A apple trees. We have a Gala and a Granny Smith that are just waiting to be busting open with fruit next season. I sourced these from a company, River Road Farms in Tennessee. They're an amazing company to work with. This is called a 2-tier cordon S-by-A apple tree. It's a mouthful. If you wanted to, you can also prune this to have a third layer involved. We opted not to go a third layer because by the time the growth happens, you'd actually see it from the inside of the garden space, and we kind of wanted this to be a cutesy little secret on the back end. Last time we were here in construction, you saw a partially built retaining wall. Well, now it exists in reality, and it is extremely important. You can literally see how tall this garden box is on the back end. So we needed to create function, and from the other side, you can actually stand here and access your trellis from the back end, whereas before, you'd clearly have to get a significant ladder out here to harvest your produce. So with this space, we really wanted to create an ambiance at night so that people could gather and not be in the dark. So we popped in pathway lighting at every nook and cranny. We have Edison bulbs overhead. We have uplights on the trellis posts. So from literally every angle, you're getting this nice little ambiance of lighting, regardless of what time you're out here. So if you remember what was behind me, didn't really make a whole lot of sense. It felt very haphazard. So really to wipe the slate clean and make this a walk-through garden was intentional. This actually turned out really well. Apparently there was a wasp nest under there, and we actually had to call pest control, unfortunately, to remove it because the guys were sawing and the wasps were flying everywhere. So this stoop has a little bit of a drama story with it, but in the end, the wasps found another home, and we wrapped the existing brick with beautiful bluestone to match what you're seeing beneath my feet. So really what we've created here is truly an extension of their house. It feels like an outdoor living space, and it needs to connect to their existing. We removed part of their existing patio. It jutted out into here, and it just felt a little patchy to leave it. So what we decided to do is at the corner of their house to cut it off and extend the bluestone to it. We do have future plans down the road to actually wipe all of this slate clean and continue this beautiful bluestone throughout the space. We did install 4 of these amazing tree form hydrangeas that are really dramatically pink at this time in the season in late September. Now next year, this whole row will be showing off with purple flowers. It's a beautiful extension of catmint. The clients, they wanted a lavender feel, but here in Illinois, it's really hard to get lavender to grow consistently. So I decided to land on catmint, which is a tried and true perennial here in Illinois, and it will get the same job done in supplying a really beautiful purple flower to line the path. And last but not least, we always have to find creative solutions to hide the things we don't necessarily want to see, and in this case, AC units. So to solve the problem, we planted in limelight hydrangeas, which over time will get 6 to 8 foot tall. So in a few years, we'll come back, this will be beautifully full of blooms, and you won't even know those AC units are back there. Well, this project truly was an amazing one to work on. Not only did we solve a lot of problems here, we dealt with the complexity of grade change, we created a lot of magic with mixed elements, and most importantly, I got to create this space for some really beautiful human beings, which I genuinely care about. And I'm so excited to show you next season when this thing is in full bloom. So stay tuned when we are back in action with all of these arbors and vines covered in greens, prolific in produce, and we might be starting on our next project here too. That's a wrap for 2025, and stay tuned for our 2026 projects coming up.